Alright guys, first off as always, good day. So this video is a little late. I do apologize for that. So this is the beginning of the um, Russo-Japanese conflict. So here is your warm-up picture. Now, there you have two guys, right? Now, what do you see? All right, so look at the picture. Up, down, left, right, every which way. Um, Now, excuse me, sorry about that. Here's the question. That device you see them holding on to, do you think that they are taking out that cork, or do you think they're trying to put it in? Okay, like they're trying to like screw it in, right? Or do you think they're trying to bring it up? Okay, and then look what each thing represents: the cork and the thing the cork is plugging up. Okay, um, so what do you think? Okay, so answer this question, pause the video, answer it, and then get ready for the notes. In five, four, three, two, one. All right, so here's the thing. In 1904, Tsar Nicholas II, he's ruling Russia and is one of the largest territorial powers in the world. Okay, Russia is massively huge. Okay, the thing is, the Russian people, uh, they've always wanted warmer ports because, again, their access to water is usually around the top area of their country and to the side, which is usually covered in ice. And as you guys know, a ship, if it's ice, it's more likely going to sink. So they're trying to find warmer ports so that their ships can be built on and they can easily go out to sea without the ships getting damaged. Okay. And they wanted this since the Crimean War. Now, we already went through the Crimean War. If you forgot about it or you never learned about it, I would suggest you go back to several videos and watch them, um, and you'll find out what happened with Russia in the Crimean War. Now, the thing is, they want a warm water port specifically in the Pacific. Now, they wanted this for two reasons mainly. One is for trade, right? Easy access, they can trade with the rest of the world, get money, things like that. Also, for their navy, you know, they wanted to expand their navy, show that their navy is could be a rival to Britain, France, and Spain, you know. Now, Tsar Nicholas had his sights on the Korean and Liaodong Peninsula, right? So he was looking at that like this is perfect, right? And they basically leased a port on the peninsula. It's called Port Arthur. But the thing is, they wanted total control. Now, remember, leasing is kind of like, in a sense, like a renting. Okay, so they're paying to be there. Okay, and but the thing is, they want total control of that area. Now, Japan, they didn't like this idea of Russia being all the way down there, Port Arthur, in the Liaodong Peninsula. And the thing is, because sometime earlier, like about 10 years earlier, the Russians backed up China in the Qing Empire. Um, and the first Sino Japanese War in 1895 happened. And Russia backed up China. And China and Japan did not get along. So basically, Japan now sees Russia as their enemy because they support because again Russia supports China, and China is Japan's enemy. Ergo, Russia is Japan's enemy. And here they are, basically coming down to their area, their neck of the woods. Now the thing is, Japan knew Russia was a very war-driven, aggressive type of country. You know, these are tough people. Still to this day, they are tough people. and they basically try to make a deal with them. All right, they try to broker a peace deal with them. So instead of fighting, they said, "Hey, okay, let's try to find a compromise." And the thing is, they basically offered to give up control of Manchuria. Okay, you'll see on a map um, in a bit where Manchuria is. The thing is, however, under the same proposal, Japan would control the influence over Korea. So the map right here, this is Korea, and you're gonna see in a later map where Manchuria is in respect to Korea. Now Russia looked at the offer and was like, really? You, Japan, a tiny little island, you're basically telling us, oh, let's make a deal, let's make peace. And they're like, we could run over you guys easily. You're tiny, you're an island, you have nothing. You guys have like mountains and this and that. We can easily crush you. Okay. Um, Also, they demanded that Korea, north of the 39th parallel. Okay, so if you look at the map, you'll see to the left, you'll see 40 north, and then below the next line, you see 38 north. So right in the middle, so right where like that Pyongyang is, that area with the uh, yellow square, that is more likely, more or less, where the 39th parallel is. Okay, the 39th parallel, guys, this thing comes up time and time again in history. Okay, so keep that term in the back of your mind. So whenever you hear 39th parallel, your mind should go automatically to Korea. Okay, so negotiations broke down, and basically Japan decided, let's go to war. You don't want peace? Let's do this. What Japan did was they basically had a surprise attack on Russia on the Navy port of, well, Port Arthur on February 8th, 1904. Now, there's a book, all right, it's called The Art of War. And now in that book, one of the things they talk about is surprise attacks, because surprise attacks are good. The more you can catch your person off guard, if they're not expecting an attack, you have the advantage. So by the time they are prepared, you've already launched your attack. You're already basically at their doorstep, So uh, that's the good thing about surprise attacks. Okay, so here's my question to you. Do you think that a person offering a peace offering, do you think that's a sign of weakness, or do you think that's a smart thing to do to avoid conflict? So, in your perspective, which one do you think it is? Someone's giving saying, let's compromise. Here's this offer, peace offer. Do you think that's a sign of weakness, or do you think that's a smart thing to do to avoid confrontation and that both you guys, nobody really wins, but nobody really loses? Both you guys kind of get what you both want, in a sense. So is that a good thing or bad thing? Why? Why? That's the thing. You have to explain your answer. Why did you say it's a sign of weakness, or why do you think that's a smart thing to do? Okay. So there's your um, writing prompt on the bottom. Okay. Be sure you use it, guys, because some of you guys are not writing very well and you're losing points. You just put cause it's and this whatever thing comes into your head. No, actually sit, think about it, and write it out. Okay. So we'll be starting the notes again in three, two, one. Now here's the thing. Russia didn't receive the notice of Japan's intention to break off peace, deals until a couple hours before Port Arthur was attacked. Okay. Uh, when we get into World War II, you'll see a pattern again about that. Now this attack really, really hurt Russia, um, mainly their navy in that area. Okay. And on this map, sorry about that, I had to sneeze. So on this map, you can actually see right near the left side of it, you'll see an X in the white box. That's Port Arthur. Okay, so again, the Russian Navy was really hurt. Now, Tsar Nicholas, he had these advisors, these guys who would tell him basically what they think that Russia should do. They tell him, well, we have this advantage, this disadvantage, things like that. These guys basically told Tsar Nicholas II, we're good. Japan is nothing to us. Again, look at the size of Japan right there on that map. They're small. They got nothing. We are big. We are strong. We can take it. And we can kick their butt. Even with the loss at Port Arthur, that surprise attack, the advisors are still telling them, we're good. We can bounce back from this, no problem. All right. Now, here's the thing. Under international law, a country does not have to give a formal declaration of war in order to attack a country. Okay, so basically, a country can attack another country and then say, "Oh, hey, we're in war with you. We declared war on you." This rule does change, however, in 1907. Okay, it's like 5 years later. They at the second Hague peace conference, the this rule is put in. So the country cannot attack another country until they declared war on them. Once they declare war on them, then they can attack. Okay. All right, I made a mistake. The thing is, I said it was like 5 years later. It was more like 2 years. Okay. So the attack on Port Arthur was meant to neutralize the Russians, basically like stun them in a sense. Quick shot to the face, that type of thing. Now, the Japanese admiral, I'm not going to try to pronounce that name, I only said it right one time. I'm not going to repeat it now. Basically had these torpedo boats to attack three large ships. Okay. Again, these are Russian named ships. I am not going to pronounce them because I will not get them right. But the last one I can't pronounce. Palada. Okay. Now, these submarine torpedo boats basically attack these large ships and put them out. Now, the Japanese tried to create a blockade to stop the Russian ships from getting out, but there were two that basically did get out. So on April 12th, 1904, the Petro, uh, which is that one right there, uh, and the Pobeda, I think I'm saying that one right, left Port Arthur in time. They were not sunk, they were not damaged. But the thing is, when they left out to sea, they struck a couple sea mines, both of them, strangely enough. All right, now if you ever watched the movie Finding Nemo, um, Dory says, "Oh, look at balloons." Those things that you see, those are sea mines. Basically, there's like a ball, and there's metal, and there's like these rods that stick out. And if a ship hits those rods, basically it ignites the dynamite inside and it explodes. Now, usually when one explodes, the other landmines are explode, so that ship is going to take heavy damage. Okay, and that's what happened. The Petro basically sinks to the bottom of the sea. It's sunk. Okay, now the Pobeda, it doesn't sink. It's fortunate enough to get damaged, but it's able to go back. But the thing is, when I say damage, it's damaged, heavily damaged, but still able to float and make it back to port. Okay. So here's my question to you. Just off what you've seen, what you've learned so far, who do you think is going to win the Russo-Japanese War and why? Okay. Is it going to be the tiny Japanese quick attack, you know, Navy, Army, stuff like that? Or do you think it's going to be the larger, more confident, you know, Russia? So which one do you think? is going to win the war and why. Again, don't forget the why. Make sure you put some thought into this, okay? Don't just put because it's big. That's not going to get you your full points, okay? Actually think about it and give your prediction on who you think is going to win and why. Do not put I don't know, okay? That again, that won't get you any points. So that's the end of this lesson. Hopefully you learned something new. Um, be sure to put your name on the paper. If you have, double check it. And then when you go into class, please, please, please put these notes in the basket. Okay. So that's the end. I hope you guys learned something new today. All right. You guys have a good day. Take care and be safe.